Okay, you know the deal by now. I've been making a roguelike in Minecraft, blah blah blah. This is part 4. Let me just show you the stuff that's happened this week. Get on with it, piggy! Here we are again, back in the roguelike. I really thought I might have been able to get the entire thing done and complete with the boss battle for this week. But unfortunately, it's been a bit more work than I thought, and So what have I been doing this week? Well, I've basically been hooking up all the little minor bits of redstone which desperately needed doing, but up to this point I've completely ignored because I'm kind of lazy and it sounded boring. For example, the third and final and biggest floor of the dungeon is now complete and playable, which has sort of a hell, fleshy, eldritch horror vibe going on with it. So, like, we have eyes in the walls and, like, blood mouths and lava and gore. I did get some comments asking me about the actual floor sizes in comparison to one another, so what I've done is I have actually laid out each of the 3 floors next to one another, and if I open up my little world map, I can actually show you them side by side. So, for comparison, here's floor 1 compared to floor 2, and you can see just how much bigger floor 2 is. And now comparing floor 2 to floor 3, you can see just how much bigger floor 3 is, and why it's basically taken me an entire week to hook it up. They actually have the exact same amount of rooms as one another, but the difference with floor 3 is the rooms are ginormous. I'm especially a fan of one of the rooms over here. Let me just parkour over. Look at this. It's sort of half split between like the magma and the eyes and a more bastion theme, which leads into the other bastion theme rooms over here and like leads through here. So we actually have a bit of a sub-biome within the larger floor dungeon as well. And of course, floor 3 is not without its secrets as well. For example, in this room, we actually have a bit of a puzzle room. Now, I'm sure you've all seen puzzles like this before, these damn blasted light puzzles. Personally, I cannot stand them because I have no idea how to solve them. No, you hit that there, and then you hit that there. Surely I'll eventually solve it, just out of sheer chance. Oh, great, I've managed to completely unsolve it. Oh, I've done it. Hey, so you get that, you finally solve it at last, and that reveals a loot chest over here where you can jump and grab the barrel and you'll get loot such as this stuff right here. Iron helmet, gold boots, ender pearls, a bit of food, and you actually get something called a Gehenna bridge, which I can now explain. Where in Gehenna, you might come across these rooms split with lava in the middle. Now, you cannot jump across, you will die, but on one end, you will actually get a dispenser, where you can use one of these Gehenna bridges, for example, one right here, and this will actually make a bridge. Another room on the 3rd floor I absolutely love the idea of is this toll room, where basically you can't get to the other side, like let's say I want to go through there, what I actually have to do is pay the toll. And of course, because this is all blood and viscera, the toll is blood. You have to jump on this spike that activates skulk sensors, to which you can then get past. And then you can enter this room, which is like a huge parkour like challenge with lava dripping from the ceiling. Oh man, I gotta show you this room as well. I love this one. So, at the end of this room is like a big bridge full of dispensers. And at the end of the bridge, if we go down here, you'll notice we have a loot chest, but it's separated by an iron trap door. Now, to open that trap door so we can access the loot chest, we have to hit this button over here. Okay, so you hit this button and that reveals the loot chest, but it also activates this lava going all the way back and forth. So you have to like run. You have to run while the lava's gone and then like jump on a platform and then it goes by and then you gotta jump to the next one before it gets you. Come on. Wait for it and then you can jump and then you can finally access the loot, which is like penny, a steak, chainmail leggings, proper interesting. And then when you're done, it closes back up and the actual circuit stops so you can get back safely. I don't know if I'm ruining the game a bit by giving away... I'm not going to give away all the secrets, but to just highlight that, like, every room has something to find. For example, this pillar right here, if you jump off this specific area and then navigate around this slight crevice here, you'll notice there's a brick out of place. And if you jump, you're rewarded with a loot chest. Dude, that gives you a diamond axe. Hell yeah. Down in this big room, there's actually an enchantment table. This is the only enchantment table in the entire game, and it's all the way down here. And you'll have to, if you actually come down here, there's a little bit of a surprise. Right underneath, there's actually a blaze spawner. So if you think you're safe enchanting, you're gonna get ganked by blazes coming up from underneath. Now, a lot of the work this week has actually gone towards balancing and just like playtesting and making sure that the game is actually, you know, fun. So I've done stuff like I've just added a couple more loot chests on floor 1 because I felt like it was a bit lacking. I've changed some of the actual loot pools on floor 1 and floor 2 so we get a better ramp up in terms of difficulty and challenge. I have also finally got round to hooking up the shop to the rest of the system. I didn't show it last week because it kind of wasn't working. I was having issues with it. But now, because I've just spawned a game, we can see that like we actually have items in the shop. So for example, that's a jumping potion, I think. This one is some, dude, diamond boots for 7 cents. And over here we have a copper helmet for 12. That's a bit of a rip-off. Okay, I think it's time. Let's talk about consumable active items. I've had to make some compromises. Outside of the Gehenna bridges, which I've already mentioned, the game has 3 main consumable items, which is the crack rock, the D6, and the new item, the scribe's key, shown here, rotating on the floor, menacingly. Now, I'll explain the scribe's key first because that's the new one. The scribe's key is how you unlock the scribe. So for example, if I insert a scribe's key right here, it'll recognize it, and now I've unlocked the scribe class for future gameplay, which actually starts with the D6, which is the other consumable I'll talk about in a bit. Just using one item to unlock the scribe, that would be kind of like sucky because now you'll find this item in loot chests, which is a bit pointless. That kind of sucks. So I've given it another use. Down on each floor in the main elevator room, you'll now be presented with a barrel in one of the corners, and this is where you can now use the crack rock, the D6, and the new scribe's key. I'll start with the scribe's key because it's the most simple. Basically, the scribe's key basically acts as a mega key. You insert it, and no matter what, it will always activate the elevator to go down further. Or it would if the elevator was on this floor. The crack rock, I've already explained. What this basically does is it re-rolls the walls in the actual dungeon. So I've inserted that, and we can now see that that's actually being negative to me. That's just completely closed it off. Oh no, but it's opened up that one and that wall over there. So it's a bit of a gamble, the crack rock. Oh no, and then it opens... You know what, that's not that bad actually. And probably the most useful item is the D6, where once you use this, it re-rolls the loot in every loot chest on the current floor and the shop, if the shop is available. So I can actually demo this. So over here in this barrel, we currently have like a penny, some steak, and a potion of healing. Let's say I didn't like that. I can go over here and re-roll every loot chest in the dungeon. So I'll insert it now. And if I just wait, it'll take these items out and it'll start inserting new ones. And there we go. And in fact, it's instead giving me an ender pearl and a chainmail chestplate, which I think was definitely worth it. And of course, this is active on all floors except for the bottom one where the scribe's key doesn't work because, well, it's the bottom floor. There's nothing beyond there. There's no going down further than hell. Except maybe Reddit. I don't know how interesting this sort of stuff is, because it's usually the sort of stuff I'll just do off camera and just have it work. But I have done stuff like making sure that the key pieces actually work. So you insert key piece 1, it lights it up. You insert key piece 2, lights it up. Then the door opens, and then, you know, you can go down here and face the boss battle. Except the boss battle isn't built yet. It's the one thing missing. Okay, so this room's pretty cool. Basically, this is a bit of a mysterious room with not much in it. However, if you were to give yourself a fire resistance potion, which you can do by killing magma creams and like actually brewing it in the dungeon, if you then swim up this lava waterfall and actually go through the lava waterfall, you'll be met with a little shop which should have a villager in it. God damn it. Basically, this villager is meant to be a master weaponsmith, to which you can then buy weapons from him. And you can now, once you do it once, you can unlock this iron door and permanently unlock it for all future runs. Now, I understand that this is a bit of a intermediary episode of the roguelike, where I just had to get a bunch of boring stuff done and just make sure it works. But the conclusion is the roguelike is done. All that remains is actually putting something at the end of this tunnel, a final boss fight for the player to overcome. And of course, that's going to be next episode, which you'll have to tune in for, because not only will I finally finish the roguelike for good with the boss fight, but I'll release this for download, and you guys can finally play it for good. This is filling the entire screen. So subscribe. Yeah, dude, I never ask people to subscribe. You should subscribe. Yeah, that's a YouTuber thing.